The first time I saw him, he was sitting in the hallway of my apartment building, covering his face with his hands and pulling his legs up as if trying to shrink. I walked past him with my suitcase, carry-on luggage that should have lasted me 3 days, but only lasted me a couple of hours. I missed my flight, and there was no point in waiting for another one because there wouldn't be another one until tomorrow. I missed the most important speakers at the conference. I might as well return home, which is what I did. I was inserting the key into the lock when the stranger raised his head. His eyes were bloodshot. This made me very anxious. "No need." That's all he said. "No need?" "Do not go there." I stared at him for a moment, trying to figure out if he was some kind of homeless pervert. But it was impossible. He was well-dressed and his hair was neatly combed, a little long, but it seemed intentional. Why not? Just don't do it." "Do you need me to call someone?" I asked, trying not to sound alarmed in my voice. This guy was starting to piss me off. "No." "Then, okay." I turned the lock, turned the doorknob, and turned my life upside down as I walked into my apartment. "Your mother." I stopped dead in my tracks, my heart pounding. "Oh my God." Female voice. "So good, baby," Damien purred. I knew that voice. He had sex with someone, only that someone was not me, his fiancée. I felt my insides clench, as if someone had led me to a cliff and thrown me off the top. I left the apartment, rolled out my suitcase, closed the front door, and leaned against it, breathing heavily. "I told you not to go there," said the stranger with a tense expression on his face. He cried. "Is that your girlfriend there?" I asked, swallowing hard. Maybe I was about to cry too. "Actually, my wife." "This is crap," I said and slid to the floor, leaning against the front door. I didn't think I could stand it. "Your husband?" "Groom," I said, sighing. "Yes, I'll have to cancel the wedding." "Lucky. I'll cancel this damn wedding." "That's right. That's exactly how I feel now," I snapped. "Lucky." "Have you already paid for the wedding?" I looked at him, at how stupidly, infuriatingly. He looked like Damien, his hair black as night, his eyes sparkling blue, and I felt sick. To her. "This sucks," he said, and then looked down at his hands as if he expected them to tell him what to do. "I'm, Hudson, like a river. Cat, like an animal. Short for Catherine." "Wow, you're such a good guesser," I said sarcastically. "You're evil," he said, and I saw him smile slightly. I didn't want to smile, but a smile appeared on my lips anyway. I smiled. Like a pathetic idiot, I smiled at this stranger whose wife was having sex with my fiancé. "Nothing evil," I said, laughing, because it was such a lie. "I can be mean. Sometimes I can be an absolute bitch. Everything is fine. I like mean girls. Nobody likes mean girls." To me. Our eyes met. He didn't look as upset as he did when I first saw him in the hall, but it still looked like it was the worst day of his life. "How long have you known?" He looked over at me, at the door. "A few days." "So, you've had some time to digest this." Hudson shrugged, looking down at his hands again. "Actually, I don't think I processed it. I still don't know if I believe it." "Well," I heard them. "If I were you, I would start to believe it." His eyebrows knitted together. "I'm trying to." I sighed. "I'll have to call a bunch of sellers." Hudson nodded. "Do you think you'll get your money back?" "Maybe a little," I thought, "but most of them demand huge payments for terminating their contracts." "When is the wedding scheduled?" "In 4 months, 20th of May. "Well, the florist should be easy to cancel. Those flowers haven't even grown yet." "That's a good point," I said, leaning my head against the door. "Maybe she will take pity on me." "Yes, maybe." I turned to look at Hudson. "Are you going to get a divorce?" He continued to look at his hands, his gaze so intense that for a minute I imagined him as Superman with laser beams piercing his eyes. He had dark hair, blue eyes, and broad shoulders, so he definitely fit the role. "Yes," he said quietly. "I'm sorry." Those intense eyes flashed. "Don't say that." I frowned. Why? I'm not allowed to have even the slightest regret that my fiancé turned out to be such a scoundrel. No, said Hudson. It is not your fault. I did not say that. Then don't apologize. Damn it, I muttered. I'm just trying to be sympathetic. He cocked his head to the side, giving me a look that I couldn't quite read. I'm sorry that my wife is having sex with your fiancé. My heart felt like it had just been squeezed too hard. Okay, point accepted. I take my words back. I'm not sorry. Fuck them both. This is more like the truth. I hugged my knees. What are you doing just sitting here, Hudson? Do you want to catch her leaving the apartment? He shook his head. I just wanted to confirm my suspicions. I didn't have a plan. Then why are you still here? You let her ruin such a beautiful day. Go for a walk, clear your head, get out of here and call a lawyer or someone. I was about to leave, but then a woman named Kat showed up, and now I kind of want to know what she does. My cheeks became slightly warmer. She's so boring. His eyes flickered to mine. Don't know. I think she's quite interesting. You don't know that. You don't know anything about her. I know that she is evil and mean. This brought another smile to my face. Yes, I think she is. Hudson held my gaze, smiling back at me. Looking at him, I wondered how anyone could be so stupid as to cheat on him. He sat there in a simple t-shirt and jeans, but he looked really, really damn good. The way he tucked those clothes in was, well, very cute. A blush bloomed on my cheeks as we gazed at each other. It's a pity that we had to meet like this, he said. Right? This is literally the worst way to meet a guy. He grinned, flashing a perfect set of teeth. How old are you, Hudson? 34. You? 29. His gaze lingered on my face. What are you doing, Kat? I work on insurance claims. Sounds boring. I snorted. You have no idea. I have a boring job, too. Oh, yeah? What are you doing? I'm a librarian. I laughed. He stared back at me, completely serious. Wait, really? He nodded. Really? Don't laugh, but it's pretty sexy. He laughed anyway. No, that's not true. No, listen to me, I said. You're a sexy librarian. Do you think I'm sexy? I resisted the urge to roll my eyes. Don't act like you don't know you're attractive. I don't know, Kat. I was too busy looking at you. Okay, everything is smooth. The heat crept up the back of my head. Yes? I said stupidly. Yes, and please feel free to call me a pig if you want, but you are really, really fucking sexy, Kat. There is such a sultry, mysterious aura around you. Your fiancé is an idiot. Thank you, I said, then added, Pig. Hudson chuckled. I like you. I crawled over to him, leaving my suitcase by the door. Do you want to get drunk? Here? Why not? We don't have any alcohol. I'll come in and get some, I said, and already made a movement to get up. His hand reached out and closed around my wrist, gently pulling me back. No need, he said, and rose to his feet. I'll bring. Where's the alcohol? Well, is this such a good idea? I asked, looking up at him. Don't you want to kill him? They deserve each other, he said coldly. There is a wine refrigerator in the kitchen, opposite the dishwasher. I'll be right back, he said, and carefully opened the front door. About a minute later, he returned with 2 bottles of wine. Why don't you have anything but wine? He asked, unwrapping the bottle wrapper. He started to take off his shoe. I think we only like wine, I said, looking at him warily. Why are you taking off your shoes? Correction, he said, putting the neck of the bottle into his shoe. Shoe in the singular. I only need one to open the wine. I would tell you where the corkscrew is, but you didn't do it, he said, and hit the wall with his shoe. The plug popped out. Impressive, I said. He handed the bottle of wine to me, taking another bottle and opening it the same way. To your health. We clinked wine bottles and drank. He had been drinking for much longer than me, red wine trickling down the corner of his mouth. When he finished, he drank half the bottle. You have a little, something here, I said, pointing to his chin. He wiped it away with the back of his hand and suddenly smiled at me. Do you feel better? I asked, amused. Yes. He sighed and added, "No." Then he laughed. "I think I need to drink as much as you do to be happy." "I'm not happy. I don't care, Kat. Doesn't it bother you that your wife is having sex with my fiancé? And you?" I drank and drank and drank and drank until half the bottle was in my stomach. Then I answered, "No." "I guess I don't care either. I do kind of want revenge, though. How can we take revenge on them?" "I really don't know," he said, and put on a thoughtful expression. It was quite nice. "What does she hate?" "She hates it when I wear this shirt," he said, but I didn't see anything wrong with it. Star Wars t-shirt. Not exactly revenge, in my opinion. "Okay, well, we definitely won't ruin her day with your shirt," I said. "Let's do something terrible to even the score." A second passed when his gaze met mine. His gaze was intense, almost disarming. I knew what he was going to say before he even said it, but hearing it still sent shivers through my body. "You mean what they're doing right now?" Hudson and I quietly made our way into the apartment, undressing in the hallway. "Is this a good idea?" I whispered. "No," he answered in a low voice, and brought his lips to mine, kissing me against the wall. As for first kisses, wow. He kissed me as if I were the most desirable woman in the world, as if he needed me to literally breathe with him. It tasted like wine and bad decisions, but I didn't really care because it was a situation of wine and bad decisions. We collapsed on the sofa. His hands quickly unbuttoned my silk trousers. My hands grabbed his shirt, pulling it off. His lips left mine for just a moment, but I immediately felt his absence, as if kissing him was as necessary for me as breathing. I squirmed under him, staring at this stranger about whom I knew almost nothing. I felt the power of his presence, as if he were a river with which he shared a name. His arms were powerful and covered in muscle, and his chest was broad and firm. My arms wrapped around his waist. The way his hips tapered down made me tremble with anticipation. He was handsome, and I couldn't understand why anyone would cheat on a man like him, but I certainly wasn't complaining at that moment. He was mine to enjoy, at least for now. All our movements were hasty, but this had nothing to do with the fact that our partners were in another room. Something about the way Hudson looked at me told me that he wanted this because he wanted me. It wasn't just about revenge. "Do you have a condom?" I asked, hoping with all the strength in the universe for a positive answer. "Yes," he said, grabbing his pants and pulling out a small square foil bag from his wallet. "I have no idea how old this thing is." "This should work," I said breathlessly. He was breathing heavily above me, trying not to collapse on top of me, but I wrapped my arms around him and pulled him down. "Hudson?" a female voice squealed. We turned around and saw a thin, long-legged, red-haired girl standing in the doorway. Her wild, curly hair was in disarray, and she was wearing my silk robe. "Hello, Lydia," Hudson said casually. Her mouth dropped open in shock. Damien appeared at the door wearing a pair of boxers that he probably barely had time to put on. He watched what was happening. His mouth opened when he saw me, under another man. "Kat." "Fuck you," I said. "The wedding's off, Damien. We're done." "Wait a minute, Kat. Who the hell is this?" Damien pointed at Hudson. "My husband," Lydia said, still shocked. "How? Why? I don't think you have any right to question my actions," Hudson said in an icy tone. Lydia's eyes filled with tears. "Hudson, I can explain. Why don't you get out of my apartment instead?" I suggested it to her husband. "And you too. Get out, Damien," I said. "Wait, is this your husband?" Damien pointed at Hudson. Lydia wiped her cheeks and nodded. "Get out," I repeated. "You both." "Now." "Kat," Damien tried again, but Hudson interrupted him. "You heard what the lady said. Pack up your junk and leave." Damien was a young Leo DiCaprio type. He was thin, a little skinny, and not very tall, but he could usually make up for it with his handsome face. But Hudson, he was a head taller than him and built like a real superhero. They are gone. We grabbed our clothes and other stuff, and within 3 minutes, Hudson's wife and my fiancé were out the door. "I like it when you're angry," Hudson said, smiling down at me. I wrapped my arms around his neck, looking into his beautiful blue eyes, and decided that I liked it too. "Would it be mean of me to ask you to do it again?" "Repeat?" "Yes. I assume we have everything we need to do this." Hudson laughed and kissed me. "We will have as many repetitions as you want, Cat, like an animal." "Perfect, Hudson, like a river." Then we did exactly that, but not to even the score. We did it because we wanted to, because we could. Over the next couple of hours, I learned what a sexy librarian with a striking resemblance to Superman could do, and showed him that sneaky insurance agents aren't as prudish as they seem. When it was all over, we looked into each other's eyes, and we both understood. The end of our relationship was the beginning of a new one. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and you will never be cheated on.